Parliament, where we have met several hundred times for debates on innovation, but unfortunately this is not yet possible again, but hopefully soon. I just got a message from the office of Commissioner Gabriel that she has to leave at 10:25. This means we only have a very limited time. The idea was, Commissioner Gabriel, welcome this morning. The idea was that you would respond to the interventions of the members of the European Parliament and also from the stakeholders. Well, I will try to give as much time as possible to the speakers. So I will give the floor to Mrs. Carvalho, a member of the European Parliament in the ITRE committee, chair of the K4I Forum, and she will say a few words about the manifesto. She will say a few words about the focus areas and about today's event, well, which is basically the handover of the manifesto to Commissioner Gabriel on the ambitious project of the European Innovation Area. We are embarking this journey today to the European Innovation Area. It's a big project. It's about creating or finalizing, completing a single market for innovation. We need all stakeholders for that, all actors, and one of the main aims of the European Innovation Area is to connect all the actors from all member states, regions, and localities from around Europe. So please, Mrs. Carvalho, I leave you the floor.
Good morning. Thanks, Roland. Dear Commissioner Gabriel, dear colleagues, dear innovators, dear friends of science and innovation. I'm very happy about this event. I think that is something wrong on the sound, no? Is there an echo? Probably if colleagues have the microphone off when they are not speaking, will improve the quality. So as I was saying, I'm very happy about this event. I will be very short today because I know that we have a short meeting and I want to give some space for the debate. Today I'm only a go-between, an ambassador to provide the service to innovation and to make sure that we have engagement of the different stakeholders in order to build a strong and well-designed European innovation area. And also today is the first of a series of events and debates that are dedicated to gather ideas that will contribute to build the European innovation area. And why do we need an European innovation area? In my opinion, the main goal is to reduce the fragmentation and to pave the way to have a true European innovation ecosystem. An ecosystem that should be agile, flexible, with reduced bureaucracy, where the results of science would smoothly flow into the society, into the economy, and would be easily incorporated in products, ideas, projects that benefits all the citizens. That is what we want, and we are still not there. There are many barriers for this smooth flow from the research to the society and to the economy. So nowadays we have already an established European research area, a European higher education area, and even an education area, but we don't have a truly European innovation area. And this leg is what is missing for Europe, and it's very important for Europe There is no point to have a strong research system, a strong higher education system, if the results of these two pillars do not flow to the economy and to the society. Until now, there was very debates among the academics, and for many academics and for many economists of the knowledge society and the knowledge economy, the idea of innovation as a local and a regional character. But recent developments in the recent years mainly relate to the emergence of many breakthrough technologies that are very close. We have very close the fundamental research with the innovation, with such disruptive ideas that they go to the market and they become innovation in an almost straightforward way. We have changed this concept of that the innovation is local or regional. Innovation has become also European and a global phenomenon. And for that, and to make sure that we take all the advantage of that, we need this innovation area. An example that innovation and a proof that innovation is no more only a local and a regional phenomenon is the European Innovation Council. The European Innovation Council and all the construction and all the ideas beyond the building up of the European Innovation Council is based on the concept that innovation is nowadays global and so European. So the European innovation should complement the impulse given to innovation in the different sector areas, from the industrial strategy to the energy, climate change, health, that is so important. Innovation are so important for these areas that we can reach our targets for greening and digital transformation. Commissioner Mariya Gabriel, we are very pleased that you have decided to use an inclusive and participatory approach to prepare this innovation area. And actually, I'm not aware of another network that will be so well positioned to contribute. Probably it's not the only one, and we don't want that is the only one, but we want to be an important player to contribute to the innovation area. So I'm not aware of another one apart from knowledge of innovation that has so much experience. I remember that 12 years ago, when Knowledge for Innovation was launched in the event with President Barroso, that I came with President Barroso at the time as a principal advisor, and the president of Knowledge for Innovation at that time, and Roland Strauss, they already talked about the European innovation area and as an objective of the Knowledge for Innovation. So Knowledge for Innovation has the ambition to be a reliable partner of the European Commission to make this a successful story. And Roland Strauss and all the members of Knowledge for Innovation and all the staff, as in the last weeks and months, put an extra effort already of this project that they have from 12 years ago, but now it's really their main objective, and they have, for example, developed a dedicated website and built by Knowledge for Innovation, and the manifesto that we are presenting here will use this website in order to gather what we call actionable ideas, aiming to help the Commission to build the European innovation area. This manifesto that we are handling today and the handover to Commissioner Gabriel is not a conclusive paper, is not a complete vision, is instead a dynamic and living document, an open call for ideas. We are building with this manifesto and with this website and with the events that we are going to organize, an open space for debates that can become an important source of information for Commissioner Gabriel and her services for the preparation of the innovation area. We have outlined 8 key focus areas directly concerned with the Europeans' main ambitions and main policy targets, but they are not, we can think out of the box and have ideas out of these focus areas. It's just a way to organize the work, and you will hear from my colleagues about these focus ideas. My colleagues, MEPs, innovator enterprises, startups, unicorns, investors, European partnerships, EIT KICs, universities, other innovation actors that are members of the Knowledge for Innovation, but not only. We want to open up to stakeholders and individuals outside of our network that they want to contribute. They are very welcome. And we also want to make a bridge to the fundamental research, to the more research institutes that are linked to the fundamental research. They also have an important word to say for these ideas. So we want to help the Commission to gather these ideas, to put them together, to make a successful story, how to implement this important concept that is to have a dynamic, flexible, innovative space in Europe, because we really need this to build the wellness, to make European very competitive again, and that is our aim, to give you a possibility to talk with the stakeholders and to gather all these ideas for the benefit of Europe, its citizens and its enterprise, especially the SMEs. Thank you very much, Commissioner Gabriel, and I pass the word now again to Roland Strauss. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Carvalho. Thank you, Graça. Mrs. Gabriel has to leave at 10:25, I understand. So she has 10 more minutes. So I would say that she would react now to what you said before we turn to all the speakers that will go into more details of the focus areas. And we certainly will inform the Commissioner on everything that has been said and make a debriefing of the interventions. Please, Commissioner Gabriel.
Thank you very much, dear Roland. I'd like to apologize because we just received a green light for the nomination of the European Youth Coordinator. Remember, I took this engagement in front of the European Parliament during my hearing. Today, I have to make the press conference for the official nomination. So that's why I have to leave. But first of all, dear Roland, dear members of the European Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, that's a great pleasure for me to see so much familiar faces. Dear Maria, dear Lina, dear Susana, Brando, Svetelina, dear Victor, and I see Gian Piero and Bernd. Thank you so much for this important key moment. That's for me a great pleasure, and I would like to start saying by saying big thank you to Knowledge for Innovation Forum of the European Parliament for running such an interesting and impactful virtual meeting. Let me also thank all the Knowledge for Innovation community, in particular today's speakers and panelists, for your contribution to this very timely debate on how to build a new European innovation policy. Mariya de Graça Carvalho, you just said that's a dynamic and living document. And I fully believe that thanks to today's discussion, we'll be able to continue to identify not only priorities, but especially actionable ideas for developing and implementing this vision. So thank you all. Allow me to begin by highlighting that we must work together to deliver the innovation that Europe needs to achieve a sustainable and resilient recovery from the pandemic. Indeed, Europe has already the talent, inspiration, and capacity to grow innovative companies with high impact solutions for boosting high qualified jobs, ensuring European leadership in the digital and green transformation, and shaping a more sustainable future. Therefore, we need to continue investing in Europe's innovation potential. And that is why today's event and the manifesto of the Knowledge for Innovation Forum on the European innovation area are so important, because it gives us the opportunity to empower and collaborate with key innovation stakeholders in order to provide solutions to our current health, economic, ecological, and societal challenges. Let me just share with you some thoughts on my vision on how we should continue to co-create together with you a revamped innovation policy, European innovation policy. My goal is to establish a policy that fosters an inclusive, pro-innovation environment with focus on increasing the territorial innovation cohesion among regions, among member states, and empowering more women to take the lead on STEM and startups. In this sense, I aim to complete the knowledge triangle by connecting the new European innovation area with the European research and the European education area. In particular, we are looking at synergies between different European programs, such as Mariya de Graça Carvalho mentioned them, the European Innovation Council, the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, the European University Alliances, or the joint roadmaps between academia and industry involving startups and investors. And this is only a few examples. In fact, these initiatives broadly address several of the same issues as discussed here today and are crucial for promoting disruptive market-creating innovations. In particular, I count on your help to turn the European Innovation Council into a European unicorn factory with a focus on startups and small and medium enterprises. On the other hand, we also rely on the European Institute of Innovation and Technology as a key player, as it offers thematic knowledge and innovation communities to support innovation projects. And here, to conclude, I would like just to say, I invite all the Knowledge for Innovation community to take an active role in our online consultation process on what would add value to existing European innovation strategies and actions, and what is the need of something new. I take this manifesto that you are handing over to me today as a valuable input on this process to build a true pan-European innovation ecosystem to make Europe the global powerhouse for startups. And with your access to key stakeholders from Europe's innovation ecosystems, I trust you will get many endorsements to your manifesto, as well as actionable ideas to implement the 8 focus areas that you have identified in your manifesto. So I very much look to work with you. And I must say that, again, during my hearing in front of the European Parliament, I said that my motto is no one left behind and think out of the box. And I think that, again, this manifesto, it's a concrete example how together we can advance in this direction for our startups, for our citizens, for our regions, for Europe as a leader in science and innovation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Gabriel. Mrs. Carvalho, would you like to briefly react? Because I think the Commissioner has to leave in 2-3 minutes, so please.
Yes, I would like to thank the Commissioner for the trust that the Commissioner has on the Knowledge for Innovation, to the group of members of the European Parliament that are more active on this network, and all the enterprise and universities and research centers that are part of this. We will work hard to gather ideas, and now I'm supposed to give you the manifesto. It's a pity that we are not all together. I just hope that very soon we could be all together to celebrate, and I just formally show you our manifesto, and that I will very soon in a physical way will give to you already, probably with a lot of ideas that will make this help to make the innovation ecosystem much more vibrant than is today. So thank you again, Commissioner, for your trust on our work.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is the beginning of a journey to the European innovation area, as I like to say. A lot has been done, but a lot needs to be done, and we are very much looking forward to work with you, Commissioner, on these actionable ideas and on a future where all innovators can, in which all innovators can participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's a great pleasure for me. I will continue to follow very closely your discussions, your ideas. And my proposal is, let's meet in 3 months, beginning of September, physically, if possible, this time to continue to discuss about the next concrete steps, because what you have in your manifesto, it's so much concrete ideas with concrete benefits for our regions and for our citizens, for us as Europe. So I will be very, very glad, as Mariya da Graça Carvalho said, that it's just the beginning of the journey, of a process, and I thank you so much for your invaluable input. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day, and I hope you are on time for the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to invite now our other political members. You know, Knowledge for Innovation has members from the academic, from the industrial sectors, but also political members, so members of the European Parliament that are working with us, that are supporting us, and the ones that are here today are among those that really dedicate their time, that participate in many events, that host many events, and that hopefully will host physically many events in the European Parliament after the summer. So I would like to invite Lina Galvez Munoz. She's a vice chair of the ITRE committee. She is from the Spanish Socialists. Please, and I'm sure she will speak about women. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lina.
I will. Thank you, Roland. Well, thank you very much. Well, it's a very important part, of course, since we do have the population, and also because it's something that is we know is very close to the Commissioner Gabriel heart. Well, as members of the European Parliament involved in this Knowledge for Innovation Forum, we are very glad that the Commission is studying ideas to start this journey, as you were saying, this European innovation area, which is this missile link in the R&I sector within the European Union. So I'm very glad, as Mariya Graça Carvalho has already said, that we are here presenting this manifesto and these main ideas for the creation of the European innovation area that should decentralize and empower all innovators and entrepreneurs to realize their full potential wherever they are in Europe. We have to link it with the industrial strategy, with the ERA, the partnership and missions in Horizon Europe, and other initiatives, as the Commissioner Gabriel was saying, the EIT are important, the EIC, and of course, I think we have a very good framework in which to articulate this European innovation area. But we have also to link with a main policy within the European Union, which is all the gender mainstreaming. And for that, I think the European Innovation Area Manifesto comes also in a very came very timely, because we really need now to have to co-create, co-design, to have this innovation strategy that everybody will contribute, all the talents will contribute to that, because we really need all the talents to contribute to the green digital transitions, to improve connection among innovation ecosystem, create synergies, enhance scale up, and to what is done to local level to connect talent, knowledge, and finance across Europe, which is something that is very much missing, as we know, for women. And all the seminars already, Knowledge for Innovation has developed. And I would like to thank on that Jara Pascual, because she has been the heart of all of that. In fact, in the first meeting that was organized physically at the European Parliament with Knowledge for Innovation, just before the lockdown in February 2020, we heard that 30% of entrepreneurs are women, which is not surprising. In fact, if we take into account that also 30% of researchers worldwide are women. What really kept with me throughout this month is that women entrepreneurs receive only 2% of financing available. Figure that has dropped with the pandemic to only 1%, and that only 4 of VC have a female majority, and only 0.5 of this venture capital women-led. To put it simple, there needs to be more women investors, more funding to women-led VCs, and more investment in women-led startups and entrepreneurs. Since then, since the moment we have this very early meeting, more meetings, a discussion took place, which gave us a result, a report, wonderful report, very good report on closing the gender investment gap, which includes concrete actions to reverse the situation. I would like to highlight a couple of them. The first one being the relevance of having high quality data in order to define the right policies to reverse the situation and reinforce the participation of women in innovation, because only with data we will be able to act in a holistic way, actively promoting the participation of women and girls in STEM, and at the same time also pushing the broader meaning of innovation, as those developing solutions with huge benefits for society will have, because more people are thinking of that, and we have many women also innovating in non-digital areas, and for that we need think innovation in a kind of broader way and supported, funded this project. And another important thing is the need to break gender stereotypes, which creates this vicious circle. As we know, there is nothing in our brains that guide us towards, prevent us for dedicating ourselves to specific path. It's our education and socialization based on gender stereotypes that pushes boys and girls to different educational, vital, and professional itineraries that offering different opportunities to women and to men. And of course, in order to eliminate gender stereotypes, we need to work in different directions. From the one hand, we need to promote the participation of girls and women in science and technology, while also giving prestige to the areas where girls have more recognition. Otherwise, we will be privileging to the areas in which today women and girls are tremendously unrepresented. We also have to reevaluate and assess correctly the real value of care. Care understood in a broad way, including health and education. As by giving the value it deserves, we can help attract men who are actually not attracted to this field because, among other reasons, as children, they have not been socialized in this ethic of care, and normally there are professions that are not well paid and are undervalued. So in the European Parliament, we take this issue seriously, and we need to take it even more seriously. And we have numerous meetings and discussed many times the need to cover this unbalanced situation, also with Commissioner Gabriel. This is, I was saying before, I know she's is a subject very close to her heart. And there was a recent public hearing organized by the Committee on Women's Rights and Gender Equality that focused on empowering EU support for women entrepreneurs and investors, including through a multi-annual financial framework 2021 to 2027. This hearing was organized in the framework of a report we had been recently published, and I invite you to consult it, which analyzed the possibilities of women to reach economic independence through entrepreneurship and self-employment. As a conclusion, half of the talents in our society are underrepresented, undervalued, and unevenly treated. Therefore, we need to find long-term solutions to break the cycle, to incentivize the venture capital market, and to modify and update the current structures to promote investment in diversity. We are obviously looking forward to a future European innovation area in communication with an inclusive perspective, and would be delighted to hear if there are more developments, as already the Commission has said we will be meeting in September. I hope by then we could even came with very specific and good proposals in this respect. Thank you very much, and we will keep going in this path all together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lina. I know that Tim van der Hagen, the president and director of Technical University Delft, he has also a meeting starting soon. So I propose to give him the floor now, and my colleagues, he has prepared a few slides. He will speak about the focus area mainly on deep tech, and in particular synthetic biology or synthetic cell, which is something that is very much supported and researched at TU Delft with its partners. And a very promising, I think, technology to manage the future. Please, could you put on the slides, and please, Tim, you can take the floor.
Thank you very much, Roland, and thank you for your kind introduction. Oh yes, there are the sheets. One moment, please. Yes, so good morning, everybody. Dear Commissioner Gabriel, good to see you again, and dear members of the European. Indeed, I would like to mention synthetic cell research, also called bottom-up synthetic biology, as a typical example of deep tech. Because being able to understand and to replicate the workings of cell is indeed one of the great scientific challenges of our time, an exciting international field of research, but it is at the same time the key to revolutionary new technologies based on this mimicking of natural processes. Imagine that instead of modifying existing cells like we do now, we could build them from scratch, from basic molecular components. And with that knowledge, we could build new materials that are 100% reusable, or that can heal themselves when damaged, or we can produce clean fuels. This can lead to a revolution in sustainable energy, in smart biomaterials, food and medicine. And the good news is, it may be achieved in the coming years. Next sheet, please, Roland. It is an inviting prospect that is made possible by years of fundamental research funded in Europe by a number of national programs and by many ERCs displayed on this sheet. Europe is leader in the field of bottom-up synthetic biology. Thanks to ERC funding and national initiatives, scientists in chemistry, physics and biology from 18 European countries are world leading in working on specific aspects of building a synthetic cell. At TU Delft, it was already mentioned, and indeed our Department of Bio-Nanoscience is co-leading this network of excellent European research laboratories. It is called the European Synthetic Cell Initiative, and their work is followed with interest by a number of small and large-scale companies. Next sheet, please. But the field is advancing rapidly worldwide. In particular, the United States recently started investing significantly in synthetic cell research and innovation. Understanding the rules of life is one of the NSF's top 10 big ideas, with yearly calls on designing synthetic cells. The Biomate Institute has just been launched that is dedicated to biomanufacturing research and development. But also China is investing in a number of synthetic biology institutes, for example at Shenzhen, the Institute of Advanced Technology, and at the Tsinghua University. And a new institute is being established in Hong Kong. In Europe, in the path towards Horizon Europe, the synthetic cell community has been in dialogue with the European Commission about the work programs. Now it is exploring these work programs as they are being published, seeking opportunities to upscale their collaboration. The first step will be to apply for a Marie Curie Industrial Doctorate this year as a first building block of an envisioned European synthetic cell ecosystem. But that is only the first step. We will need more to scale up. Final sheet, please. It is clear that we are now at a tipping point. If sufficiently funded, progress in this area in the coming 5 to 20 years will position Europe as the leader in this scientific and technological revolution. But they need now to upscale to a European level to be able to bring together all this knowledge and make this scientific and technological breakthrough possible. This is not possible at the scale of a single institute or even at the scale of a single country. A coordinated European approach is needed. An effort by research and industry at the European level is key to make this happen, and the European Union Commission is cordially invited to support this effort. The synthetic cell community hopes to continue the dialogue with the European Commission about how to do this within Horizon Europe. We have here a true game-changing technology whose road was paved in great part by the ERCs. It is of essential importance that Horizon Europe invests to build further along this road towards innovation for Europe's autonomy and industrial sovereignty. So, dear Commissioner Gabriel, dear members of the European Parliament, I would like to conclude my short intervention with an invitation to visit our Bio-Nanoscience department and its labs at our Delft University of Technology and to talk to our scientists about this exciting research field and even more exciting promises of this technology for Europe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tim, for this interesting presentation. Deep tech is one of our focus areas, and synthetic cell or synthetic biology is very promising. There are a few others, but I think Europe should definitely support these future and technologies that will support the transition, that will support sustainability, and that will be in support of our future.
Thank you.
Let me now give the floor to Victor Negrescu. He is a Romanian member of the European Parliament, also from the Socialist Group. He's himself an entrepreneur. He was during the preparation of the Romanian Council presidency, he was the responsible minister in the government. He's still very young. He was already almost 10 years ago with us in the Knowledge for Innovation Forum, and it is always great to welcome you, Victor, among us. Please.
Thank you so much for the invitation. And indeed, I'm still young, and I think everyone here is still young, because it's important, again, how we feel and how we act. And with this, of course, manifesto, we show our willingness, of course, to strive for change and to push for a continuous improvement of what is happening at European level. And I think, and this has been underlined in previous intervention, what we are trying to construct, what we are launching basically with this manifesto, is this idea that we need to move further in the implementation of European policies by identifying new links, new synergies that can generate innovation. And those links need to unite, of course, different ecosystems. And I was asked today to speak about how education can play an active role in this regard, because I'm vice chair of the Cultural Education Committee, and I'm also chairing the European Education Alliance, a broad network gathering many MEPs from different political groups, trying to push for education at European level. And of course, I think Knowledge for Innovation is an excellent platform to speak about this new idea of creating an innovation area and the role that education can play in this regard. And of course, in the manifesto, this is mentioned quite clearly. We refer to what is happening across the globe and how universities, educational landscapes, education ecosystems can generate entrepreneurship, and how important it is to create an efficient and effective environment to generate entrepreneurship. And this can be done in different ways. For instance, we can do that by promoting entrepreneurship education in schools. We can do that by helping universities developing innovation hubs where they can offer students access to facilities, technologies, but also mentorship. We can do that by sponsoring, financing, offering grants to universities to develop research, but also develop products and services. We can do that by investing more in the training of teachers and professors in universities. We can do that by showing that we can build a European innovation ecosystem by helping universities working together from different member states. So we can have the Dutch universities, the German universities working with the Spanish or Romanian ones and generating together common ideas. We shouldn't think, if we speak about European perspective, at the boundaries, at the differences and the distances anymore. We can really build an ecosystem that is working very well through digital means, but also by connecting and meeting each other at European level. So I often said that in the past, and I have to mention this again as well. We don't need to copy the Silicon Valley model. We have our own model. The idea is to transform Europe in a Silicon Valley, and this Silicon Valley is what we are saying in the manifesto, is this European innovation area. This can be our Silicon Valley that is broader than a simple, a region. It can be and introduce the entire European Union. And a key element, in my opinion, in this regard is how we are using the recovery plans in order to generate these ecosystems and these synergies between the different instruments existing with regards to innovation. So we need to do that. So most of the member states have already registered the recovery plans. I had the opportunity to look at many of them because I'm a member also in the budget committee, and we have access to them. And I can tell you that for the time being, we have a lot of interesting ideas, but no synergies between those ideas. So I think one of the key elements that we can introduce, Roland and Maria, if you agree, in the future, is also to speak about how this manifesto that we are launching today, that we are presenting today to the commissioner, basically, how this manifesto can be a useful tool also in convincing member states to create synergies between the recovery plans. Because if we invest some money in Italian universities and we do build some hubs in Bulgaria, or we finance startups in Sweden, this is good. But why not create some synergies between all of that? At least for Bulgarian startups to find out what is happening in Sweden, for universities in Spain to find out about interesting entrepreneurs in my own country, in Romania, and so forth. So we need to put all of that together. So I think this is one of the core advantages of this manifesto, because we offer a European perspective. It's only a starting point. We'll continue the discussion. And in my opinion, education does play a key role. Universities play a crucial role in this regard, and they cannot be ignored. They are the soul, I think, of innovation at European level. They are the element that particularizes the European model when it comes to the innovation landscape. And I think, of course, together, all of us, and I know that everyone is really involved in the process, we can do a very important, play a very important role in this regard. So thank you again for the invitation of being here. You can count on my full support. And I'm certain, Roland, that Knowledge for Innovation is a structure that can push forward for the actual creation and development of this European innovation area. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Victor. Thank you, what you said about education. There are many among us here today that share your thoughts about education. But I also thank you that you referred to the national recovery plans and the need to build synergies. Our next event in this EIA event series will be on the recovery plan, or the next generation EU, where we invite the member states to explain how their national plans will support innovation, new technologies, education, and certainly we will start a conversation on how to build synergies among the national plans. So let me come to our next speaker. I switch between genders. So now I would like to have Susana Solis. She is very supportive, also very much interested, and she was very active in our events on the women-led VC funds and startups. But she was so kind to focus not on the women, but on fostering cohesion innovation. We use this positive expression instead of innovation divide, but this will be the third event in this event series that we will organize in July, where we will dig a bit deeper, where we will have World Bank with some very interesting analysis and reports in new member states about their innovation ecosystems. Please, Susana, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Roland, for inviting me to the presentation of this manifesto, because after many months of hard work, it's great to see the compilation of the different discussions we have had to set this robust single market for innovation in Europe. And I want to thank you for including the point of innovation cohesion in the manifesto, because I think there are two key takeaways from the lessons we have learned from the crisis. The first one is the important role that R&D has in building modern and resilient economies. And that's why I would like to use this forum once again to voice out that reaching the 3% expenditure of the GDP for innovation in all member states is no more important than ever. And that the current 2.90% in the EU is unfortunately still far away from other innovative economies like South Korea, and that we cannot afford to lose this chance. But not only there are big disparities between the EU and other economies, the reality is that also within the EU, there are very big territorial imbalances regarding innovation performance. And this is ever more noticeable if we look at the difference between urban and rural areas. So as stated in the manifesto, this divide between lower and higher performing regions not only reduce the EU's overall R&D potential, but also poses a serious threat to economic growth, cohesion, and global competitiveness. And this takes me to the second point. We cannot leave anyone behind. And for the first time, the EU and all its member states have understood the importance of working together towards a joint recovery. As you mentioned, and Victor mentioned before, the next generation EU package has the potential of being the driver of change for the future generation. But despite the importance of the recovery package, we must not forget cohesion policy. Because by implementing adequate policies in education, research, and innovation through cohesion policy, the European Union helps underperforming regions to further develop their innovation ecosystems. And it also includes the development of the startup villages in rural areas to create the basis for the next wave of disruptive innovators. And during the negotiation of two of the most important structural funds, the ERDF and REACT-EU, I was very aware of the importance of R&D to relaunch the European economy. That is why we try to simplify procedures as much as possible, reduce the red tape, and include smaller actors such as SMEs in the innovation process. Europe needs to tap in the full potential of its knowledge, ideas, brains, and talent. And this is what cohesion policy has been doing throughout the years. The European structural funds have been the strongest EU tools to help reduce disparities and advance common European goals. They have been used for upskilling and reskilling. They have helped advance towards an economy less dependent on fossil fuels, and they have been a major support for innovative ventures. So I want to thank you for including this point in the manifesto, because I truly believe that cohesion policy is fundamental to ensure that the EU advances toward an innovative economy that does not leave anyone behind. As a member of the REGI committee, I would like to contribute to this goal. The journey, as you mentioned, starts today for this European innovation area. And a big thank to you, to K4I for the great work. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Susana. I hope you will be our host for this dedicated event on fostering innovation cohesion. We still have to fix the date, but it will be towards mid-July. I'm glad to have to be able to announce our next speaker, Bernd Schäfer. He's the CEO of EIT KIC Raw Materials. He's also responsible for ERMA, the European Raw Materials Alliance. And as we have heard many times this morning, the EIT is playing a crucial role in building this European innovation area, especially at the local and regional levels, but also on topics such as education and entrepreneurship. Please, Bernd. You have to unmute.
Okay, sorry, it's always with these new systems here. Okay, dear Commissioner Gabriel, dear members of the European Parliament, it's a pleasure to be here and participate in the launch of the European Innovation Area Manifesto Handover. I can only follow the arguments of the speakers before. There are huge opportunities. EIT Raw Materials is driving innovation, education, and entrepreneurship across the European industrial ecosystems. And we provide a collaborative environment for disruptive and breakthrough innovations by connecting business with academia, research, and investment. Let me give you a few examples of how we are achieving this. So on the level of education and entrepreneurship, EIT Raw Materials is leading the HEI initiative. Innovation capacity building for higher education. To date, the EIT innovation communities have worked with university partners to create substantial impact in boosting innovation in their area of focus. This has taken place principally at faculty or departmental level. For example, EIT Raw Materials are working with materials science or geology departments now under Horizon Europe. The EIT's Strategic Innovation Agenda 2021 to 2027 envisages bringing this expertise to entire HEIs at the institutional level. This is a major new EIT program which will transform from higher education institutions into engines of innovation. The aim here is to reach 750 HEIs across Europe. We know that universities are central to regional innovation ecosystems. This initiative will therefore support them with expertise and coaching, access to the EIT innovation ecosystems, and funding to develop and implement action plans. The HEI initiative will thereby boost innovation capacity in Europe's region and facilitate connections between education and new technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship. This initiative was launched in March of this year only, but the level of interest has already been tremendous, with total funding of around 28 million euros for the pilot call alone. The pilot call received applications from over 60 consortia, including over 320 European HEIs as of today. Results here will be announced in July, and we believe that just as the European universities initiatives contributes to the European education area, the HEI initiative will also provide strong support to the European innovation area. But we are also quite active on the level of the green transition, and EIT Raw Materials develops raw and advanced materials into major strength for Europe. Raw materials are the nucleus for strategic technologies and a transition towards a green and sustainable circular economy in the EU. Without them, we will have no electric vehicles or charging infrastructure, no wind turbines, and no solar panels. Today, only a fraction of the most relevant raw materials is produced in Europe. They are used in various high-tech applications and are of particular strategic importance, for example, in magnets for electronics and communication devices, as well as in renewable energy, robotics, and multiple applications. So we are strongly depending on those raw materials from abroad. While rare earths, for example, used for magnets constitute only 1/4 of the total rare earth production volume, they represent 80 to 90% of the total rare earth market value. And over 90% of those rare earth magnets are produced in China. And on another note, half of our cobalt is sourced from the Democratic Republic of Congo, which represents again a high supply risk. So this dependency can be changed through a circular economy approach, through innovation in recycling, substitution, processing, mining, and exploration. It is the objective of EIT Raw Materials to secure a sustainable raw material supply by driving innovation, education, and entrepreneurship across European industrial ecosystem and in the context of a European innovation area. To put it bluntly, if we fail to secure this, the green transition will fail. This is what drives us in our vision of developing raw materials into a major strength for Europe. By connecting innovation with entrepreneurship, funding, and research, by investing in the next generation of innovators, we have educated over 200,000 people as of today. In particular, women who have been historically underrepresented in our sector. We can make this happen. Another example on financing and innovation and new technologies. As innovation also needs financial investments, EIT Raw Materials has been mandated by the European Commission to lead and manage the European Raw Materials Alliance, short ERMA, which addresses the challenge of securing access to sustainable raw materials, advanced materials, and industrial processing know-how. By 2030, ERMA's activities will increase the production of raw and advanced materials and address circular economy by boosting the recovery and recycling of critical raw materials. ERMA aims to make Europe's economy more resilient by diversifying its supply chain, creating jobs, attracting investments to the raw materials value chain, and last but not least, fostering innovation, training young talents, and contributing to the best enabling framework for raw materials and the circular economy worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, EIT Raw Materials warmly welcomes the European Innovation Area, which we are excited to support. We firmly believe that Europe can become more competitive in connecting education with innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship across Europe to create jobs and realize the European Green Deal. Our innovation community, as the leading global partnership in raw materials, is ideally placed to contribute to the European Innovation Area. And with this, I would thank you for your attention. Thank you. Give the word back to Roland. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernd. And I'm sure there will be lots of opportunities to work together to make this innovation area concrete. We have another speaker who is interested, but I think we are all interested in this green decision, but Svetlana Penkova, a Bulgarian member of the European Parliament, in particular expressed her interest to say something about this green transition, and I would like to give her the floor now, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Roland. I hope you can hear me and see me well.
Yep.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you so much for having us here, dear colleagues, and for the organization. To my fellow colleagues from the European Parliament, of course, all the points they brought up, I don't think I need to repeat them, but just to agree with what they've said. Also today in Bulgaria is Children's Day, which I think it's a pretty good occasion for me to be here and to be speaking on this forum, because I think we all agree that we should be driving the change and not be afraid of it, which is usually typical for the younger generations. But I think with the example we are setting up at the European Union level, we can inspire those young people to be an active part of what's coming ahead of us in terms of challenges and opportunities for the future of our economy. So to start my few remarks, I think we all agree that Europe is on the verge of economic and societal transition, which is definitely going to be driven by the technological and green transition. And we need to do our best to boost that and to create the best opportunities for it to be successful and to be scaled up to an extent which would make it efficient and effective for our society. I will start with a few remarks on the innovation and why they're important and where we should be focusing on. Recently, we've been speaking a lot about artificial intelligence and how this would have an active role in our economical development going forward. Of course, there are quite a few bits that we need to be looking at in terms of regulatory framework. However, the opportunities that AI, blockchain, and big data are providing us are definitely going to help us achieve this desired environmental sustainability we're all reaching for. The latest researchers are showing that AI has the potential to enable the fulfillment of 93% of the environmental and sustainable development goals we have all set up for our future development. The issue here, I think a lot of colleagues who've already spoken on the panel re-emphasized on that. It's crucial for us to keep investing in innovation, but at the same time, we should also keep up with the regulatory framework, which is quite needed to create the right environment for that. However, here the important remark is that we should be able to balance that regulatory framework with boosting the technological development and innovation at the same time, because sometimes it is considered that the regulation could be a burden for that. And I think this is one of the biggest challenges we would be facing, to be able to promote the EU as the leader in developing those technologies, but at the same time having the competitive and the sustainable market we need to offer to our citizens and to the SMEs, especially in that matter. In terms of the green transition and how we could achieve that, Europe has set up to be the leader in terms of promoting the regulation for the fight against climate change. We were the first political entity that set up the proper regulation on that matter. And we've seen that a lot of the big economic powers started to follow us on that. So we've already achieved our leadership position. But now is the moment that we shouldn't be remaining only the leader in the regulatory environment. We should also enable our industries to achieve that green transition in the best way possible. And what we're doing, I'm just gonna give a few examples of what I mean by the more practical approach in that matter. If we look at the Green Deal, and especially the European Green Deal investment plan, we're seeing that it has three main components. The first one is financing, because of course, without the funding, this transition wouldn't be possible. The second one is enabling, which gives us the opportunity to provide incentives to unlock and redirect public and private investments. And this is probably one of the key aspects after, of course, providing the necessary financing. And the last main priority in the investment plan is, of course, the practical support, where we need to offer the public authorities the tools and the sets for them, the guidelines for them to be able to promote that in each and every member state and achieve that cohesion both in the matter of the green transition and, of course, the technological transition. I'm not going to be speaking a lot, but I thought it's very clear that the two important priorities of the European Union, the technological and the digital transition and the green transition, they go hand by hand, and they're definitely inseparable. In terms of the objective we need to set ahead of us is that we need to achieve a fair and green economic growth with social inclusion and business competitiveness, which all of those three components are inseparable. Otherwise, in terms of the long-term objectives and achievements, we wouldn't be successful. I think we're on the right track now, and we need the active involvement from all the stakeholders, as you have them on the panel, and active involvement from organizations as Knowledge for Innovation with the manifesto we are presenting today, just to be able to give the proper guidelines and the proper plan of how to implement that and achieve it. And in terms of the situation in the past 18 months, we've seen that sometimes unprecedented situations are out of our control, but the technological and the green development are the way to resolve them and to make our society move faster and prosper in those matters. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you very much, Svetlina, for this really positive words and comments and encouraging the next generation. I mean, I like very much Next Generation EU if we speak about the recovery plan, because it's not only about recovering, it's about the future. It's about a sustainable future. It's about a green transition. And who else could do it better than the young people, especially as it is also about their future. Thank you very much. Before we come to interventions from our real entrepreneurs, so we have two CEOs from the Unicorns group in Europe. I would like to ask Brando Benifei, who is also a long-standing political member of the Knowledge for Innovation Forum, to share his thoughts with us. Please, Brando.
Yes, thank you, Roland. Thank you, colleagues and friends. First of all, I'm very happy to be among the speakers of this meeting of today. Commissioner Gabriel has earlier explained the path that led us today to where we are, and also the end out of this manifesto. We have been working for a lot of time in close collaboration with the Commission as well as with all the relevant stakeholders on this idea of a European innovation area. Shaping and stimulating innovation in the European way will be one of the most important tools to win the challenges that we are facing. As the manifesto we present today states, it will be essential in order to ensure growth and competitiveness for European economy to develop this European innovation area. And I'm happy that we are here with also with our entrepreneurs. Some of them I know. I say hello to our friends from Facility Live. It's clear that digitalizations and new technologies will have a central role in creating the conditions to achieve our objectives, also in the transition of our economy to a more sustainable way of living and producing. It's clear that also in the Next Generation EU, we have a clear indication of the blurring of these dimensions and the help that each of these dimensions, sustainability, digitalization, and social transition can benefit from each other. The 8 focus areas presented in the manifesto are for sure the most important challenges we now have to face. We must be aware that the decisions we are going to take on these matters will have a strong impact on citizens and businesses' future in our continent. Moving to a more sustainable economy, the role of education in shaping innovation, the role of women in the innovation process, fostering innovation cohesion between European member states, making sure we create the right conditions for European innovation ecosystems to grow and thrive. These are all fundamental steps in order to guarantee a fair and just transition. For this reason, it's very important to continue involving all the stakeholders. And I'm proud to be a member of Knowledge for Innovation already since the beginning of my first mandate in 2014, because we have been striving together for this. As European lawmakers, we are now creating a model for European approach to digital technologies. This model is a good balance between, on the one hand, the rights of people and the protection of consumers, in particular the most vulnerable ones, and a strong support for innovation and enterprises on the other. In order to reach this balance, we need to break any taboo and to be able to design a regulation that can indeed guide and enable these processes of change, establishing clear frameworks, providing legal certainty, and a level playing field for businesses on one end, and ensuring the respect of fundamental rights and freedoms on the other end. The clear example in this European ongoing debate, I want to focus to conclude on this specific point, is the proposal of for a regulation on AI, a proposal on which expectations and interest were and are very high, both for those working in the field and for the many stakeholders directly involved, but also for actors outside the union, because this is a regulation that will inevitably have large repercussions worldwide, not only for developers of AI systems who want to sell their products and services in our internal market, but also for the complex international debate on AI. In fact, important ethical and social issues are being addressed by the proposal, and a real European model is emerging. What we are striving for is a framework for AI that puts people at the center, the human-centric artificial intelligence we hear so much about. The European Parliament itself actively contributed to this effort from the beginning, calling on the Commission to establish a legislative framework on AI as early as 2017. And also with the ongoing work of the AIDA committee, of which I'm one of the shadow rapporteurs. From a first glance of the proposal, we cannot notice a range of undoubtedly positive elements which echo the Parliament's position we adopted last October, while obviously some challenges remain and we will need to work on. Personally, I believe that even through the regulations introduced as obligation and safeguards, the innovation process is not at risk. In fact, the proposal takes into account the challenges of small operators, such as SMEs and startups, foreseeing the possibility of using regulatory sandboxes, promoting self-assessment procedures. And so I think that it might hamper bad innovation, but not innovation in general. And this must be our I would say, our point of view and the way we work on it. With this, looking into one of the examples of this regulatory effort that needs to be done in a balanced and in a innovation driven way. In conclusion, I want to say that I think we will keep, with all the colleagues also that intervened from different political groups, we can continue, and we need to continue working together to stimulate innovation and promoting our excellencies, and serving in this way our European Union at the same time as representatives. The manifesto is our outline for an EU model for innovation in this sense, and I'm happy that also Commissioner Gabriel could be here today with us to also signify the attention and the importance that the Commission gives to this process and to our ideas coming from the work of Knowledge for Innovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brando. we have to get it right with the regulation of these emerging technologies, because they are so important. It's AI, but it's also quantum, it's probably blockchain. So we need to get these frameworks and environments ready to support what we do in Europe in these areas. I think, Martins, I will give you the privilege to speak as the last speaker. It is very logic that we continue now in Italy with Gian Piero, who is the CEO of Facility Life. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Roland. In Europe, we have 4 cornerstones to build the next generation digital industry, able to be protagonist of the digital world at a global level and able to support other industries that will need more capability to develop a forefront innovation, research and development to be competitive. The first cornerstone is the tech and digital sovereignty. In Europe, we have very good web companies. We begin to have a European digital infrastructure, but it is not enough. We miss a third fundamental part of the full digital stack: software and hardware companies able to drive the innovation and to help other industries to innovate. In US and Far East, they have the full stack, and we can see the result of this, a gap that Europe needs to close. They have their tech and digital sovereignty since decades. Now Europe needs to close the gap, and tech and digital sovereignty is the strategy. The second cornerstone is to support the fundraising and give to European startups the possibility to grow faster and to deep tech companies the time to go to market. The creation of at least a 100 billion fund with public and private money is the way to facilitate this roadmap. We, as Europeans, should care about the upward scalability of our tech companies, lest our crown jewels be bought by American or Asian money before they have the chance to evolve into global players, unless, of course, the company wants to be bought. This fund will be the fuel to boost the next generation European digital industry. The fund is the tool. The third cornerstone is the small valley model. How to empower the European capability to produce innovation not only in the digital industry. Europe has a large group of small and medium cities with the right environment to produce innovation, as some of them make since centuries. Europe cannot simply copy the Silicon Valley model of doing things. Instead, Europe should strive to set up a network of small valleys connecting small and medium-sized creative cities built around an historical university, such as Pavia, Leuven, Salamanca, Uppsala, Varna, etc., with efficient communication links and with businesses tightly woven into the local fabric. A small valley can be the best environment for Europe to boost innovation. It is ready as network, needs to be highlighted and supported, for example, with a set of rules that can speed up the collaboration between university, research centers, startups, factories, and local governments. The small valley is the model. A European ecosystem is the final goal, the fourth cornerstone. Having a clear strategy, a powerful tool, a solid model, it is possible to scale up a European digital and tech ecosystem in 5 to 10 years, instead of decades. The European Innovation Area is the perfect environment to achieve these goals. This is the challenge that we as Unicorn Group invite the EU to achieve. And I personally am very proud and honored to be here to tell these words after many years of building relationship in Brussels and the choice as company in 2013 to remain European without leaving our city, Pavia in Italy, to follow the Silicon Valley dream. Thank you and thank to Knowledge for Innovation for this invitation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gian Piero. I think you do a fabulous job, and it's great that you stay in Europe. If we look at the landscape of the unicorns, especially in the recent few months, many already left to the US, and they all started small with European funding and participating in research and innovation programs. So we have to find a way to keep them in Europe, to grow them in Europe, to find the capital that is needed, that they need to grow and stay in Europe. So this is certainly one of the main challenges that we have, because we don't lack ideas, we don't lack knowledge, we don't lack great talented entrepreneurs, but we have to support them on their way to become global champions and stay in Europe. We have another CEO of a unicorn company from Latvia. Martins Wolters is well, the founder of Mintos, and he will explain to us what it means to be a unicorn in Europe.
So, dear Commissioner, dear members of European Parliament, it's a really pleasure to be here and give a view from the industry, how we think we can make Europe to become kind of more innovative and produce kind of great results. And with what I would like to start is actually with not concentrating on what we kind of don't have and what we need to do, but what we have and how we can kind of work more on our strengths. And one thing what Europe has as kind of a natural resource that is, well, close to impossible, even with technologies close to impossible to replicate, is our population. Well, in terms of kind of entrepreneurship, that's an addressable market. Well, the last time I checked, there's only kind of, if we look Europe as one country, there's only like 2 countries that have kind of more populations than the EU, and that's kind of India and China, and we are ahead with a margin on the rest one. So what it means is that we actually have already a great place where new ideas can be born, and where we can test them. However, we have put ourselves kind of internal hurdles how we can kind of access the European market. So idea would be kind of born in any of the European countries, but if you want to kind of scale it up, test it out, there are like so much kind of fragmentation, so much kind of different requirements, permissions that are needed in each country, which could be a kind of death penalty for innovative ideas, and it kind of doesn't move forward. Luckily, well, as kind of entrepreneurs, we are always, when there's a problem, we're looking what could be the solution, and we think there's kind of relatively simple solution. What we call it is pan-European, pan-EU sandbox, which basically means, well, we need to set up which are the priority industries where those innovations can arise, be it transportation, finance, medicine, deep tech, whatever, like where we see the kind of biggest focus areas. And we need to implement it, like companies in these industries can work in EU as kind of in one playground, as one sandbox, and not to have like 27 different confirmations necessary from different member states. And again, that's kind of practically doable by kind of putting the right institutions in charge of that. And in that way, we can kind of increase the speed of innovations, which is crucial. And coming myself from the finance field, we also see there's kind of lot of spillover effect. So actually nowadays there's so much money in the economy. The problem is that, well, it's not distributed where it is necessary. And with help of innovations in financial technologies, we can also make that work, and we can kind of channel that money to kind of new innovative areas and help both kind of new companies to start, as well as kind of grow our own big companies in Europe. The other point I wanted to touch upon was about talent. So yes, we have great universities, great talent, bright people here in Europe, but as with talent, well, it's never can be too much. So it means we need them, especially for like some areas as artificial intelligence, deep techs, and so on. I recently was reading a book about Mongolian Empire and the way how they got the talent. They basically conquered whole Europe and Asia. Well, luckily we live in ages when we don't need to conquer anybody to get the talent. There are people that are willing to come to Europe, talented, but again, the kind of problem what we have is that the process just like takes too long time. So sometimes it takes like 2-3 months to get the EU blue card. We as entrepreneurs, as a part of Unicorn Group, we believe, well, we need to make the process much faster. So ideally it should be kind of 1 week. And this is again doable by putting the right technologies there, putting the right processes, and we can kind of get the talent that is necessary to help us kind of grow faster. So thank you for being able to be here and tell our views. And we really believe that, well, with the right will and the right actions, we can make Europe great and innovative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martin, for these encouraging words. I remember in the context of our startup activities, which are called EU Top 50. So a couple of years ago, we organized the only ever happening startup pitching in the plenary hall of a parliament. So we selected the top 50 European startups, invited them to pitch in the plenary hall of the European Parliament. And well, we had also an event of the EU Top 50 with young innovation leaders. And I think you and the unicorns, you can play a role model for many startups and encourage them and even help them to grow, to succeed. And well, this for me would also be one of the challenges and tasks in building the European innovation area. Well, I think we will slowly come to an end, but before we do that, I would like to invite Mrs. Carvalho to, well, summarize. I think I don't want to ask you to summarize. This would be a bit too much, but at least close the event and, well, certainly invite everybody to meet again soon in the European Parliament.
And thank you, Roland. It was a very successful and very interesting event. I thank the Commissioner for the trust on our network. I thank all the colleagues, all the participants, all the CEOs of Unicorns and the CEOs of the EIT KIC for the participation and for their ideas. I got already a full list, but I'm not going to repeat them again, of very impressive ideas that we can put together. Actually, we have different phases of our work. One is that we should gather from our past meetings, from our past workshops, all the ideas that we have already. Secondly, from the meetings that we are going to organize in our focus areas, we need to come out of these meetings with a list of concrete ideas, and after we need to put everything together to have document that we will hand over, and the first occasion to do that is in 3 months' time. So a lot of work to do that in the next 3 months, that we are already shaping a document to give to the Commission, not the final one, but the one that we can start the discussion. That is what I take. A lot of work, a lot of homework for us, but in a very, very important area. It was said here that there is missing legs for Europe to close the gap of the innovation, and these missing legs are identified, like the lack of hardware companies. That's one a very important missing points, is this culture of manufacturing on the key emerging technologies that we have to regain. How we do that, that is just an example. So we have to, the gaps are identified, we have to come out with concrete ideas to speed up the innovation in Europe, and these ideas in a very concrete way and in a very organized way. We have the opportunity in 3 months' time to deliver already a list to Commissioner Mariya Gabriel, and to continue the work afterwards. So thank you very much. Thank to all the colleagues that will be adding the different focus areas and hosting the events in these focus areas, and the reports that will come out of each of the focus areas, that after everything put it together will be our deliver document to the European Commission. And again, thanks to Roland and all the staff that has organized and put together this meeting.
Yes, I would like to thank you, especially Maria, for having supported all of this work with all of us, for the support we got from your assistants, but also from the other members of the European Parliament, from the K4I members. And yes, we will compile all the actionable ideas that we already started receiving, but that will come in over the next couple of weeks. We will make an outcome of this event today, put together the ideas that were forwarded, and then in 3 months' time, I'm sure we have a big pile of very good actionable ideas that we can discuss then again with the Commissioner. Thank you very much to all of the panelists, and I hope that some of you will be back in our next event, which we call Innovation at the Heart of the Next Generation EU. So where we want to discuss with the member states representatives how their action plans will support the transition, will support innovation and new technologies. And then a last event before the summer break on fostering innovation cohesion towards mid-July. So thank you very much to all of you. It was a pleasure, and hope to see you soon again inside the European Parliament, where we can maybe even shake hands, but let's see. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roland. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.